back at it again, baby, and we have another one from the comedian JP. Let's dive in.
Say you're a normal person who wants to become a leftist. Great. Sounds like a good step of personal development to me. But you might run into problems.
His shirt says certified awake. I love it.
Trying to learn how to think like a leftist. Because with leftist logic that lacks any rooting in rational thought, integrity, or self-awareness, you can be left confused and unable to grasp their unique thinking methods. That's why I'm going to walk you through a very clear flow chart that'll show you exactly how to think like a leftist, so you can too. It's pretty simple. Let's start from the beginning. Okay. Now you gotta know how to contemplate some key questions and political hot topics. So let's start with this. My body, my choice. Is that a true or a false statement? Okay, well, are we talking about killing a baby inside of your body? Yes. Well then, my body, my choice is a true statement and always is. Because it's your body, nobody else should ever have any say in the matter. So congratulations, you're on your way to thinking like a leftist. But let's just say, no, we're not talking about killing a baby inside your body. Well, are we talking about injecting a very profitable pharmaceutical product into your body? Yes, we are. Well, then you should have no say in the matter because it's your body, someone else's choice. So my body, my choice is a false statement, which should have you thinking even more like a leftist now. Now that we solved that one, let's take a peek at how you can look at any incident and decipher, is it an insurrection? Are you being led into the Capitol building by a security guard? Yes. Well then, it is an insurrection and those bastards should spend 1.5 years in prison as political prisoners because they're insurrectionists. And you were thinking like a leftist. Okay, now let's say, no, you're not going into the Capitol building. Well, are you storming the Supreme Court and protesting outside the homes of judges, even though that carries a 1-year jail sentence? Yes, you are. Okay, well that's different because it's much worse, which makes it better. So no, that is not an insurrection because you're just trying to overthrow the justice system of the US because you're a leftist. No.
The way that he's killing the logic is wild. Like, is this one thing over here illegal and should be punished? Yes. But is this thing over here that a leftist would do illegal and should be punished? No. Oh man, listen. Anybody that breaks the law should be arrested. It should be that simple, you know. Like I don't know why we have started playing sides and all this extra stuff. It's crazy to me. It's absolute craziness to me. There should be no sides. If you break the law, you break the law. It should be, I don't care if you're part of the left. I don't care if you're part of the right. There should be law and order. You break it, you go to jail. You protest outside a judge's home to try to get them to change their opinion. You're breaking the law. You're in the slammer. I mean, man, we live in some wild times, y'all.
Let's see how the leftist mind thinks about this question. Is freedom of speech dangerous? Well, is it free speech being used by the media to propagate dangerous narratives that harm people? Yes. Well then, no, freedom of speech is not dangerous because you're thinking like a leftist. Okay, back here. Is free speech being used by the media? No. Well, is it being used by ordinary citizens, as it is their constitutional right to do so, to share information so they can make decisions based on their own free will? Yes. Then yes, freedom of speech is always dangerous and should be banned, because you're thinking like a leftist. All right, next.
My thing about the whole freedom of speech thing is well, I guess more so the misinformation and disinformation, that's all BS. I'm sorry. I almost cursed, but that's all bullcrap. The whole misinformation and disinformation, it makes me feel like they think that we're stupid, right? At least for the people who think that they're doing some type of good. You know, we got to get rid of misinformation and disinformation. No, you don't. There's always been information that hasn't been true since the beginning of time. Like, that's always existed. Why do we have to get rid of it now? And who gets to decide what is misinformation and what is disinformation? That should be up to us to decide and decipher through as far as what's true and what's not. We have brains. We can think for ourselves. We don't need Big Brother government or anybody else to think for us, or any board to tell us what is what. No. That's crap. That's crap, in my humble opinion, and it's just another form of control. Because, like I said, if a group or a board gets to decide what's true and what's not, then how do they know what's true and what's not? And how do we know that they're not lying to us about what's true and what's not? You know what I mean? So let all the information fly and let the public do with it what they will. It should be that simple. Stop trying to control folks. It's the way that I see it. But y'all let me know how you feel about misinformation and disinformation in the comment section below.
Should you virtue signal at all times, even when you have no idea what you're virtue signaling about? Answer: yes, because that's the left thing to do. Now for a wild card. Should you stand with the LGBTQ flag because that community means more to you than anything else? Yes, always. Okay. Well, should you stand with Ukraine at the same time? Yes. Then for maximum virtue signaling points, should you alter the LGBTQ flag to include Ukraine colors? Answer: yes. You'd have to be a moron not to. And then given that gay marriage is banned in Ukraine and therefore Ukraine is against the LGBTQ community, do you continue to virtue signal for both at the same time? Answer: I don't know what you're talking about because you sound racist right now. Yes, you should stand for both. Congratulations, you're thinking like a leftist. Now let's think about this question. Is racism everywhere? Yes, all people are racist. No exceptions. Pretty straightforward and nuanced. Well then, does that mean you're racist? No. Why? Because everyone is racist except me. Makes sense. From there, do you agree with Joe Biden, who's white, when he says you should judge people based on the color of their skin, not the content of their character? Yes, I agree with Joe Biden, who's white. So does that mean you disagree with Martin Luther King Jr.,
FJB,
who's black, when he says the opposite, which is you should judge a person based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin? I disagree with Martin Luther King Jr., who's black. Okay, then why do you agree with a white guy's perspective on racism and disagree with a black guy's perspective on racism? Answer: everyone is racist except me, because I think like a leftist. Make sense? And now for the age-old question, do masks work?
Oh, man.
Yes. Therefore, you should always wear one. You gotta respect the science. But do masks really work? Yes, but also no. Mine won't work unless you wear one too. Therefore, you must always wear one too, because, follow the line, my body, my choice is a false statement, as we've already established. People should have no say whether they wear one or not. Okay, now back here. Do masks work? Yes. Are you Fauci? Yes. Are you hanging with celebrities and you want them to see your ugly face so you can feel significant? Yes. Okay, well, do masks still work? Yes, they do, but you don't have to wear one because my body, my choice. So unless you're Fauci, enjoy wearing your mask in your car by yourself to protect you from yourself because you're thinking like a leftist. Is it fascism or is it democracy? Now these are two very different forms of governing, so this should be easy to answer. Let's take free speech, for example. Is it fascism or democracy? Well, is it a conservative talking? Yes. Then it's clearly fascism, and we must destroy freedom of speech in order to save our democracy. Okay, another scenario. Got free speech, conservative talking. No, it is not. Well, is someone using threats, intimidation, and violence to silence the opposition? Yes. Is it Hitler doing it? Yes. Then it's clearly fascism. Back here, is it Hitler doing the threats, intimidation, and violence? No. Is it you doing it? Yes. Well, then it is a necessary aspect of a democracy being used to save our democracy. Thank God for you being a leftist. Now, as a leftist, if there's one thing you love more than lockdowns, it's fear-mongering about the climate crisis. But here's the question you got to learn how to think through. Is the climate crisis severe enough that ice caps will melt immediately? Are you a normal person? Yes. Well, then the climate crisis is severe. The ice caps are melting immediately, and cities will be underwater soon unless something drastically changes. Okay, starting here again. Are you a normal person? No. Okay. Are you Obama? Yes. Do you continually fearmonger about the severity of the climate crisis? Yes. Oh, well then go ahead and buy that $12 million beachfront estate on Martha's Vineyard that you already purchased, because the climate crisis is not severe, therefore there's no immediate threat of rising.
Wait.
The climate dollar beachfront estate on Martha's Vineyard that you already...
He bought that? Sheesh. And you know, the thing about this whole situation is, you know, a lot of people have made it sound like, for example, part of New York's going to be underwater. Florida, you know, a good portion of Florida is going to be underwater. And all of these coastal cities are going to be just royally effed. So it like in my mind, you would think someone that believed heavily in that, you know, that all coastal cities were going to be, you know, in the crapper, they wouldn't buy a property that was close to water. You would buy a property that was a little farther inland. So in a few years, when everything melted, you would actually have a coastal property and all the other properties would be underwater. That's what I would think. You know, if you're being smart about it and the water levels are really going to rise, buy something that's a little bit inland. So when the water levels rise, you'll actually be on the coast now. But I don't know. Maybe he's going to sell it in another year or something. I don't know, before it all goes to crap. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about water levels rising, sea levels rising. Talk to me.
Purchased, because the climate crisis is not severe, therefore there's no immediate threat of rising oceans. And now you're thinking about climate change like a leftist. Okay, another scenario.
Golly.
Climate crisis severe. Are you a normal person? No. Are you Obama? No. Are you Bill Gates? Yes. Do you continually fearmonger about the severity of the climate crisis? Answer, yes. Oh, well then go ahead and buy that $40 million beachfront property in San Diego that you've already purchased, because there's no way it'll be underwater because the climate change is not severe. Okay, one more time. Climate crisis, are you a normal person? No.
And anybody that fearmongers and then buys a coastal property, I would love to put them on a spot and ask them, so if it's so severe, why'd you buy a coastal property? If water levels are rising rapidly and it's all going to go to crap, why would you spend so much money on a house that's going to be underwater? we got to start doing more of that as citizens, because a lot of people get away with just BS, just saying stuff, and nobody ever really pushes back. You know, they say what they have to say and then they walk away off into the shadows or off into their mega mansions on the coast, but they just scared everyone into thinking that sea levels are gonna go out the wazoo and all coastal cities are gonna be underwater. But they're living on the coast. Something isn't adding up here. 2 plus 2 isn't adding up to 4. It's more like 44? I don't know. See what I did there?
Are you Obama? No. Are you Bill Gates? Also no. Well, are you Al Gore? Yes. Well, then the climate crisis is severe, and the ice caps have already melted, and all the coastal cities are already underwater since 2016, as you predicted they would be in an inconvenient truth. And that's how to think about the climate crisis like a leftist. We really couldn't be more cut and dry. Now, we live in very divided times, and you'll regularly encounter people who have different perspectives than you. But how can you tell if they're right or you're right? Well, are you rage crying about it? Yes, that got scrunched. Then you are right and they are wrong in this situation. Not done yet. What about this? Do they have good science, integrity, and morals behind their perspectives? Yes. Okay, so they have science, integrity, and morals behind them, but are you mentally ill? Oh, you're offended that I asked? Then yes, you are mentally ill. Therefore, you are right and they are wrong in this situation. Okay, let's go back here. They got science, yes. Are you mentally ill? Oh, you're not offended that I asked. Cool. But are you rage crying? Yes. Oh, you are mentally ill. Therefore, you are right and they are wrong in this situation. And now you're well on your way to having your brain washed in leftist logic. All right, and finally, let's get ready to shut down all the science deniers out there, because we're going to answer this question. Can men get pregnant? Answer, yes, men can get pregnant. The only exception is a few men who suffer from rare infertility problems. That's great and very scientifically sound. And because men can get pregnant, should men have a say on abortion? Answer, absolutely no say. Okay, well, why not? Answer, only women should have a voice in the matter because no, men can't get pregnant. Don't be an idiot. Okay, but are you Bill Gates? Yes, you are Bill Gates. Well then...
Yo, the fact that he put all this together, all these arrows going all over the place, my goodness. Oh, shout out to JP, man. Holy. Arrows upon arrows.
Yes, men can get pregnant because you already look pregnant, Bill. And that pretty much solves the riddle if men can get pregnant or not, because you're thinking like a leftist. And that's it. Now you're thinking like a leftist. It's kind of like a just imprint this into your mind and you won't have to think anymore style of thinking. It's pretty straightforward. Enjoy having your mind function like this. Any questions?
Just imprint this into your mind, then you won't even have to think. And unfortunately, I think that is the way some people function. They have, you know, a lot of these ideas just imprinted into their mind, and it's just hardwired. They're not even thinking. You could provide them with all of the evidence, statistics, and facts that, you know, anyone could even think of. You could drop a book on them, this thick of just facts and statistics that go against whatever it is that they're saying, and it won't even matter. We live in some scary times, y'all. I want to say the KGB defector Yuri, I forgot his last name. If you haven't checked that video, I'll try to remember to leave a link up top so you can watch that video. If I forget, just comment in the comment section, hey, KGB Yuri or something along those lines, and I'll put the link up top. It will probably be over there. But yeah, I want to say he mentioned something about that kind of situation, like when it's all going to the crapper. That's going to be one of the signs when no matter what, they won't believe you. No amount of statistics or facts will change their mind. And I think we are right. If we aren't already in it, we're right on the brink of it. And it is crazy to think about. Scary. to think about. But anyway, you guys can let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. All right? Smack that subscribe button. Peace and love. I'm out.